Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure here that I'm invited to maybe, I'm from, as the moderator mentioned, I'm from communication schools. So this is quite new to me here within like the education thing, conference. But I can tell you like how I jump into this area. So as you see, our topic is about enhancing learning opportunities for the hearing impaired through Thai MOOC. That might answer the previous question about this inclusivity. All right. So my team is also assistant professor Dr. Kanyarat Sriwisathiyakun. So our presentation will be broken down into two sessions. Like I'm going to talk about the introduction and the background. So as I'm, the one that started the concern about this, the opportunities for the adolescents like deaf students. So that's why I discussed with Ajahn Kanyarat about how we can help them. So I'll start with the background of the project. It's, as you might familiar with the word deaf person, right? So the deaf person profile is about like profile hearing loss, and they have their own community, their own cultures, the identity and language. But in our project is we use hearing impaired as, we want to include not only like the adolescent that not fall into the category of the deaf person, but there might be the partial of the hearing loss. So that's why we are designing the lesson for them. So this is about our key term here. So why we focus on the digital literacy for the deaf adolescent? The reason is, as I'm from the communication arts and communication area, my job is doing anything that relates to communication within like global and local context that serve the well-being of the people in the society. And we've seen and have noticed, like both of us have noticed that once, it was in one day, we saw the social media of an adolescent, and we saw the profile and we saw the reaction in that social media. And we found that that person was a deaf teenager, as like I saw the profile where they studied, and I see, the comment and the status, that very sexy thing. So that's why I talked to my colleagues like, hey, we should do something about it. So that's why, as my area of interest is about digital literacy, so I realized that digital literacy is crucial for inclusive, for lifelong learning too. So that's why we focus on the deaf adolescent. And we found that the deaf adolescents face the limited access to tailor digital education. And even like once we look through like what are the resources for them, for empower them in learning and knowledge. So we found that there's not like many resources that really like facilitate them for their lifelong learning. So it means that there is a need for sign language that support them, in learning. So that's why at the end of the project, we designed Thai MOOCs, that because we are expecting that is a powerful tool to bridge the gap of this. So that's why this study explores how Thai MOOCs can break the barrier and promote inclusive, accessible learning, empowering all learners through equitable digital education. So that's about the background of the study. So later, my team, my friends, is going to explain about how we've been developed, this kind of two subjects in Thai MOOC. So the project that we work on is a digital media innovation to enhance learning potential for hearing impaired individuals through digital literacy for lifelong learning. So it was funded by the Education Technology, Ministry of Education in Thailand. The year was in the start of the year was in 2021, but it took maybe, almost 2 years for the project, but actually it was for 1 year. But then, there were the reason of COVID-19 that, it was a big challenge for us in working on that. So here, as I mentioned earlier, like these people, these kids, they always facing the barrier in access to the digital information due to the limited availability of accessible content. So what we have observed was like they were trying to imitate the behavior of people in general without like critical thinking, like what is the proper way to react on social media. So that's why, that was one of the reason that we start. And we realized that there is insufficient digital literacy support. So we are like finding the way to engage them in empowering them the digital literacy competency by using Thai MOOC. So these are our objectives. So first is to assess digital literacy levels among hearing-impaired adolescents as foundation of the developing of digital learning media, which I'll talk about it later. Because we need to know what should be the appropriate content that to be fit in with the deaf students in order that we can empower them with the digital literacy competency and encourage them to do the lifelong learning. And the second is the second phase too. We developed the model digital media innovations that enhance digital literacy for hearing-impaired adolescents. And yes, the third objective is once we have that, so we evaluate the use of digital media innovations in promoting digital literacy among hearing-impaired adolescents. So these are our three main objectives. So let's start with the first phase. So as I mentioned earlier, we need to know what is the appropriate content that to be fit in with the adolescent with the hearing impaired. So we study the level of their digital literacy first, and the objective of that is to assess digital literacy levels among hearing impaired adolescents, because we want to have it as a foundation to develop the digital learning media and also the content we should provide to them. So in that phase, what we do is we have broken down into three areas of study using a questionnaire with 372 students from 21 specialized schools for the deaf. So all respondents are the deaf. So it's really fun with that because what we have to do is we have to translate all the questionnaires into sign language. As in Thailand, it's kind of quite local here. Thai students and Thai deaf community, they still prefer sign language rather than the written language. So that's why we have to transform all that questionnaires into sign language. All right? And we distribute it online through Google Form. Then we use the analysis, So the research tools is a questionnaire, as I mentioned earlier, that assess the level of the digital literacy, lifelong learner to analyze the attitude and behaviors towards a continuous direct learning and connect with the concept of lifelong learning in the digital age. So we want to study about that. And also, we also want to know about the need and condition of the target group, the respondents about using MOOC for studying. Because we are later come up with the decision that why we don't create this channel or opportunities for them to study in Thai MOOC, as it's already available for the community, and it's gonna make Thai MOOC look more inclusive for everyone. So that's why it's about it. And then we use for the first phase we use a descriptive stats analysis. We use t-test, ANOVA, and regression. So this is the finding. I just pick some interesting fact about the finding. So from that finding, we found that the regression model explains 67.2% of variance in lifelong learning readiness, meaning the model is statistically strong and reliable. If you look at this table, you see that the strongest predictor is here, create and communicate. So this is very important because we see this can predict that if the students or the deaf people, they have a competency of create and communicate in digital literacy competency, what happened? If they have this competency, it would encourage them for the lifelong learning. So that's why we take this, create and communicate to be the foundation of to develop the content in Thai MOOC, which I'll introduce later. So these are the list of the example. Yes, from the evidence to the innovation, as I mentioned earlier. So create and communicate. Digital tools produce and share contents are most likely to be ready for lifelong learning. So we focus on that. So we develop the content for enhancing their learning potential for hearing impaired individuals through this digital literacy for lifelong learning. That's why at the end we come up with the content and the name of the course that relates to that competency. So it's about online media used as a digital citizen. That's about communication. That's about communicate skill. So this course is about to equip them with a communicate skill in digital literacy competency. And the second one, as we see like create, can encourage lifelong learning. So we encourage them to know about how to tell the story, create the story. So we develop the second subject, which is digital storytelling with literacy for the deaf. So that would be our totally for the deaf. All right. After we have the draft of the content and the subject that we want to provide to them, we took all that to our partners. Our partners are the Office of Special Education, Ministry of Education over here, and also we have the Foundation of the Deaf here in Bangkok. All right, so we work like, under their guidance every step because we were, like, frankly speaking, we were so new in this area. So from that, we had got a lot of good suggestions, and we found, as I'm from the communication school, right? So I'll know like how to do the production, how to do communication with people in general. But once we touch this, deaf people, it's totally different. There are a lot of like things to be considered once like we want to like communicate to them. That's really interesting. So next, I'll let my friend introduce about the second phase when we develop the courses.
Okay, all right. After we completing phase 1, we got important data to design and develop the model in phase 2. And for the phase 2, we divide into the 2 steps. The first step, we design and develop the model. And the second one, we implement the model to create the online course on Thai MOOC. Yes, for the step 1, we design and develop the model. As you can see on the slide, we design the model based on the design thinking process, and we add the key component that we got from the literature review, and make it to be the model. And after that, we organize a focus group with the experts. They provide the feedback, the comments, and also the evaluate our model. And after that, finally, we got the final model, as you can see on the screen. I would like to give you an example how to implement the model into the course on Thai MOOC. The example is the one of the course that we did. The course name is like online media used as the digital citizen for deaf. All right, we get started with like a setup, the goal, the course goal. So such as like a course title, course time, learning objective, and also like assessment and so on. And after that, we go into the next stage. The stage is like analysis and empathize. In this stage, we got the information and the data from the phase 1, that from the survey, and also from the interviews, and also from we have some kind of the survey, and we have the open-end question, that the thing that the student want to have for the course. And then the important thing that we got from from the first one. The data it just show like we need to use the sign language, and the most important thing that we got from the interview from the expert, she said that we need to concern about the consent of the PDPA. So after that, we back to talk and discuss with the team. We have to gathering the idea together, and then we just like a conclusion of the idea together with the team. We got the important thing that we have to make it for the production. For example, we need to create the courseware on Thai MOOC, and we need to use the sign language. That means we need to invite the interpreter who can use the sign language, and also we invited the actor and actress, like they are like a deaf person or deaf people who can to being the actor and actress because we need some kind of the
yes, actually from the interview, the suggestion, as I mentioned earlier, that we work under the control and guidance of the Thai Deaf Foundation and also the specialized education. And they suggest that it should be the role play to encourage them to focus on the content of the study. So that's why we start with the role play acted by all deaf students to talk about the situation that they might face once they use or they are in the area of digital communication. For example, online game, addicted, something like that. So that's the introduction before getting into the part with the lecturer that introduce them or guide them like how to be safe in the digital world. That's the example.
And one of them that he joined us to be the actor. He is popular in the deaf community, and he just came to join us, and it's good for us to make the production. And also we need to have the closed caption that it would be synced with the sign language of the interpreter. And after we conclusion of the idea, after that we just going to make the production, and we got the prototype as you can see on the screen. And would you like to talk a little bit about the production?
Yes, production is my part. So regarding to the production, the guidance from Thai Deaf Foundation and Specialized Education, they guide us as if you see in Thailand TV screen, that would be just a small square at the corner with a sign language. That's not inclusivity for the deaf. So that's why from the role play, once we direct to the lecturer, so we have these lecturers with the interpreter, both of them talk and translate, in order that to make sure that all the deaf can access into all information. We were thinking of removing the lecturer off, but that's not the inclusivity. So that's why we put these two together on the screen. That was one subject. And with another subject, my friend was mentioning about the influencer, the idol of the deaf community. So we want the subject to be more interesting. So we invited him. So it's very hard work because I have to teach him about the content of it is the script and everything about the storytelling. So he will be the one that talk to the learners about it. So that's why we have two subjects and different. We want to have the two different prototypes to prove that it works or not. Okay. So according to the production, even about the costume, we were guided about the costume. You cannot make the costume colorful because it's gonna be the barrier. And even the hands, when you teach on the screen, you cannot moving the hands like we are doing, because it's gonna confuse the students, the deaf learners. One, they focus on another interpreter with the sign language. So everything has to be under control with the experts in that special education area. All right? Yes.
And one more thing that I think is quite important, there is some kind of the components in our model that we need to concern is about the instructional strategy. So because our group target is be like deaf student and also the hearing impaired individual. So we have to like make, when we have to do the contents must be like a short, you know. So the long content must be redesigned to be short, and also the test, the question must be used like a true false, not multiple choice. Yeah. So yes, after that we have to put the video clip with the interpreter who can use the sign language one by one item in the test. So this is lead us to have the higher cost for the production, because we have a lot of the tests before and after. Before it's about like maybe 20 and after 20 as well. So that means we need to put all the video one by one for the test. And yes, by the way, we did it, and we done the production. After that, we going to the phase 3 to experiment with the deaf student. In this phase, we went to the Sriwisathiyakun school. We met the 20 high school student, right? High school student, about 20. But I would say that in this part, it's not just only the deaf student, but we found that they have the hearing impaired and also the autistic and also the AD, that combination in the group. Okay, do you need anything to explain more?
Yes, right. Okay. So for this trial, we visited the Sriwisathiyakun school in downtown Bangkok. With that, as Ajahn Kanyarat mentioned earlier, with 20 students example from with how do you say it? This hearing impaired, deaf and everything. So in this, it's not only like we encourage them to jump into Thai MOOC. We had the instructor that come and help the kids to learn how to make the registration to Thai MOOC, because it's too complicated to them. So that's why we want to make sure that everything is smoothly and inclusive. So I still believe that online learning plus on-site learning is really like useful. It's kind of like immersive experience for the students. And the work was, you know, going very well. Or I have to mention a little bit, like earlier my friend was mentioning about the true-false question. At that time, we have to thank to Thai MOOC, because like we had the problem with that, and we're trying to negotiate with them, like, because like the requirement has to be multiple choices, right, for Thai MOOC. And then I made the request, we made the request like with the special needs students, and then they allow us to do it. So thank you a lot. And then yes, this is like the result of the learning. Yes, this is Thai MOOC. And this is like the result. So we had then the pre-test and post-test, and if you see the blue line, after the access to the course, so it's higher when comparing to the pre-test. Yes, and
yes, but by the way, we have a limitation of our research a little bit, that as you can see that we just got the small group or the small class size. So if we can do in the future, we can like do the research with the bigger group, it's going to be better. And also we didn't use the complex statistic because I would say that our research it arrived with the criteria of the assessment with the Thai MOOC, that you're gonna the audience, the learner, they can get the certificate when the score is above than 70%. So this is our limitation, okay?
So in conclusion, so the course was designed to meet the unique needs of this group and prove effective, achieving a high rating from media quality and activity design. And with that 75% pass rate among that 20% participants, actually my friend was mentioned about the class size. Yes, it again under the control of the special education. They said like for these special needs students, they cannot have like the big class size in order that to make sure that we can take care of all the students that participate. So they even say like 20 students is high number when we do it for the experimental. So the course demonstrated its ability to improve learning outcome. The result highlight the power of inclusive pedagogy and educational technology in building more equitable and digitally literate in society. So this is the result. The latest result before the Thai MOOC has shifted the layout, right? Yeah, the layout. So that's, as you see here, there are like number of people who view the course, like for the first subject, using online media as a digital citizen, 1,237, and there are like almost 900 for enrollment, and yes, half of them pass it. And while another we have for the storytelling, yes, the name of the course may be more convincing, so that's why we see the number of people views 1,153, but still the number of the enrolled learners is 65. So yes, number of learners who passed still like half of them. All right. Yes, in conclusion, again, what we learned from that, the lesson learned from what we have done so far is kind of like interdisciplinary communication with education technology is quite fun working. And also communication with education technology jump into the area of special needs students. So what we learned that we've seen that the project highlighted a strong demand among deaf learners. For free, flexible, and online course, learner prefers self-paced digital media, including sign language, video, with real-time captioning, short, engaging content, and again, should not go over 10 minutes. 5 minutes, okay, 5 to 7. High-quality course content, the active participant, and structured assessment significantly enhance learning outcome. So the well-designed MOOCs can effectively enhance deaf learners' ability to develop the media information and digital literacy competency. So that is about our presentation. Thank you ค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ
Very good presentations. So I think I understand how tough, how hard that you try to finish these projects. And I think I very appreciate about your projects. Because we do for people who are disabled, right? So I think you give for social. So I think in the future, and you can extend more the population, and your project can use all the whole the country. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions? No, okay, thank you. Thank you so much.